I was threading my beat-up bike through Fairview's afternoon traffic when I saw a luxury sedan stranded in the middle of Maine and harbor hazards, blinking like a rich man's quiet SOS. And behind that tinted glass, a gray face and a palm, sliding down the window mouth, shaping help with no sound at all. People did what people do. Now they circled, they filmed, they kept moving when the light changed, and I heard my own voice say, "Call 911," while my hands reached for the bike frame and lifted like it weighed nothing. Then crack! Glass cubed across leather, heat and panic pouring out as I unlocked the door, and the man whispered, "I can't breathe." I didn't think I counted 30 down 2 breaths again and again. Street horns warping into a tunnel until he coughed, and a paramedic said, "You just saved this man's life," and I wanted to crumble on the curb. But court closes at 5 and rent's due Friday. So yeah, I got back on the bike and pedaled with glass in my hair and adrenaline in my teeth, you know what I mean. 3 days later, a card from the hospital slid under our door, then another from Kane Systems with a number for Nina Park office of the CEO and my grandmother. Miss Ruth paused her game show and said, "You look like you fought a dragon, baby. Tell me everything." I called, half expecting a scam, and instead met the man I'd dragged onto the asphalt, not in a suit, not with cameras, just a soft sweater, a tired smile and eyes that had stared down the dark. He said, "I'm Everett, and I owe you more than flowers. What do you need?" I told him the truth because lying to someone who beat the Widowmaker felt rude. I said, "I need to keep the lights on, finish the nursing program I dropped when Miss Ruth got sick, and if the bus could come on time 3 days in a row, that'd be nice." He laughed at the bus part, then got careful, Talia. "I want you to work for our community impact group, not as a mascot, as a builder. Salary and real benefits help us stop doing charity from a spreadsheet." My guard jumped like a cat on a countertop. This city has taught me offers can be traps with pretty bows. He saw it. Not that he said with both hands open, "You saved me, I'd like to help you help more people, no publicity, no strings." I took the folder home and spread it under our rattling fan. Miss Ruth read every line with her readers, low on her nose, "A door is a door," she said, "but not every hand on the knob is safe. What's your gut say?" "My gut says, check the hinges, then step," I told her. "Then step," she nodded, "but keep your feet under you." I started a week later, badge too shiny on my thrifted blazer, a desk with a plant I named Second Chance, and a team led by Carla, who shook my hand like she meant it. We picked Riverside for our first health fair because it's the kind of place the skyline forgets, and phones started ringing different when I said we don't need a photo op. We need blood pressure cuffs, Spanish Vietnamese, and folks who can explain insulin without scaring people. Everett showed up in a plain polo, a sticker that just said, "Everett," handing out clipboards like he'd always done it. And the room told us we were right. 200 plus screened in 6 hours, 13 urgent referrals. A grandfather who finally understood his medication. Volunteers smiling with that bone-deep kind of tired that means it mattered. Then the cold wind came, a board meeting, a request to expand, and a man named Victor, whose cufflinks arrived before his empathy, leaned back and said, "We build software, not clinics. What's the ROI?" Everett talked brand trust and retention, and the long game. Victor grinned like he'd found a bruise, or maybe the long game here is personal. You ever feel a room turn, and it takes your breath a half second to catch up, yeah? That happened 2 days later. The Ledger ran a piece with careful words and sharp edges suggesting, "The girl who broke his window broke into the budget too." In the cafeteria, a guy I'd never met muttered, "Must be nice, right place, right time." And I decided if they were going to question me, they'd have to do it to my face with facts, not whispers. I walked into HR before anyone sent for me, laid out our plans, receipts, outcomes, then asked for an outside audit. If the numbers don't hold up, move me if they do publish them. And while we're at it, let's fix the structure. Spin the programs into an independent foundation with neighborhood leaders on the board. So I don't report to Everett at all. Clean lines, clean conscience, clean work. At home, Miss Ruth poured tea like it could mend bones and said, "Bring that man over if he's going to pivot your life. He can sit in my living room and eat my greens." Everett arrived nervous with flowers and a store-bought pie. And Miss Ruth looked him in the eye. The way women who survived hard decades look at men with soft hands. "Do you love my granddaughter's courage or the way she makes you feel about yourself?" she asked. "Sweet as syrup, sharp as a switch, both," he said, then caught himself. "I love her courage because it makes me useful. Even if I never felt better about myself again, I'd still say, put your money where people can breathe." She watched his face like a lie detector, then smiled small. "You might be worth the trouble." The audit landed like a brick of truth, cost per person, better than regional averages, outcomes measurable and moving in the right direction. Trust up volunteers, returning, and Everett called an emergency board meeting and handed me the clicker. Not him, me. I told the stories that live inside the numbers, mapped the red dots where people die too young, then the green checks, where we caught something in time, answered questions that weren't questions so much as tests, kept my voice steady, because fear owes me interest for that day in the street. And when I finished, Everett said, "I'm recusing myself from decisions about Ms. Brooks. I recommend we fund the Fairview Health Access Foundation with an independent board and move these programs there. If you don't want a perception problem, fix the structure. If you want ROI, see page 14. If you want a leader," she just spoke. Silence then. Eleanor, the one who always asks questions that matter, said, "It's rare to hear humility and a plan in the same sentence. I vote." Yes, others followed. Victor voted no, like it was his brand. Motion passed. In the elevator, Everett whispered, "You were a force." I said, "You were smart enough to get out of the way." And we both laughed, the kind of laugh that lets adrenaline drain without tears. I took the job at the foundation, pay different, headaches, different joy, the same. We opened 2 clinics and an old delivery truck. We turned into a mobile unit that parks where taxis don't. I enrolled part-time to finish nursing. Miss Ruth framed my student ID like a diploma. Everett volunteers on Saturdays under a folding tent that smells like sanitizer and street popcorn. And no one knows or cares who he is except the kids who recognize a corny sticker joke when they hear one. People still want the messy answer. Are we dating? Did money buy my future? Did I win some lottery? Here's the truth I can live with. We pressed pause while I was under his chain of command, because power is real, not a vibe. And when the foundation launched and lines were clean, he asked me to dinner without pretending it was about a milestone. I said yes with boundaries, because I don't let opinions. I didn't ask for write my life. We ate fried chicken on Cedar where nobody performs. We talked budgets and faith, and how to teach teenagers that carrying the Sharps container doesn't make you the star. And yeah, we sleep better now. Then a shaky phone clip of me smashing that window hit the internet, and did what viral things do, turned my face into an argument. Hero or reckless savior or clout chaser, corporate cover or community win, Everett posted nothing, I posted nothing. We showed up Saturday and the Saturday after because victory isn't fireworks. It's a Tuesday where the generator starts, and the line is long and patient, and Nurse J texts, "Got a guy to the ER in time thanks to screening." So let me ask you what I ask myself when I replay that intersection. Would you have walked by because a luxury car looks like it can save itself? Would you have said no to a job because the comments might get loud? Does public good excuse private mess? Or should we be brave and clean at the same time? If a CEO falls for the woman who broke his window, does that ruin the work or prove that the work is bigger than their reputations? I'm Talia. I was underestimated, laughed at, told to smile more by men who confuse kindness with smallness. I broke a window and built a clinic out of the shards. Hit subscribe. If you want more on underdog stories, told by the people who lived them. Drop a comment and tell me where you stand, on right and wrong, and everything in between. Argue if you need to, or better tell me about the moment you looked through glass and decided it had to be you.